Thank you for staying with Republic. You're watching the news at 11:30 and we continue to get you more details as the debate over fare being charged to migrant workers who are travelling to their home states is reeling. The opposition primarily claiming that the centre is charging migrants a fare. This despite the centre making it very clear that 85% of the charge is being borne by the centre and 15% by the states, and railway ministry sources also telling us how social distancing is being maintained in trains and bottled water and free food is being given to these migrants. Niranjan is joining us on the phone line with more details. Over to you, Niranjan.
Some sort of a contradiction in what the Congress is claiming and what the states are doing. And we have full details that we have just received. And, what is happening is right now, the Congress states are trying to make it seem like that the railways is charging people for migrants for the travel. And there is a big controversy that's now broken out. But I think the railways have set the record straight. Last night, we also spoke to the railway board chairman who set the record straight. And now we're getting in some more details. In fact, the railway ministry sources are telling Republic TV that the railways is charging only standard fare, and even this standard fare from state governments, saying that we're charging standard fare from state governments, which is 15% of the total cost incurred by railways. Railways is not selling any tickets to migrants and is boarding passengers based on lists provided by states. So essentially, railways is operating the platform, but they are not charging for the tickets. They are charging the states 15% of the total of 100% ticket for actual fare. They're charging states 15%, and the states are supposed to pay. Now, what we're also getting to know from our sources in railways is that, for each of the trains which is carrying about 1,200 people, we are told that the Shramik Express, for each of these special trains, about 1,200 tickets to the destination are handed by the railways to the state government. So for each of these trains, Suesha, each train carries about 1,200 people with social distancing. The tickets for these trains, for each train about 1,200 tickets are handed over to the state. And it is the state government which is supposed to clear the ticket price and hand over the tickets to the workers. State governments are supposed to clear the ticket price and hand over tickets to the workers. And this is where the contradiction lies. Now, this seems to be, translated into, I don't know, the Congress party is now saying that, migrants are being charged. I don't know where the miscommunication has been, or we're trying to get the full facts of the case, but I think the railways is setting the record straight, saying that they are not selling tickets. That much is on record, that they are not selling tickets. They are absorbing 85% of the tickets, and 15 more tickets, 15%. 15% is being incurred by the states, 85% is being absorbed by the center. So there seems to be some sort of mismatch in what in what the Congress seems to be claiming.
Oh yes, Niranjan, and it is extremely important that everyone gets their facts right before they level any sort of charge of this nature, because this time is extremely crucial. Be it the centre or the states or the railways, all of them trying their level best that these migrants can be taken back to their home states safely while following social distancing, while ensuring that all the norms are adhered. And in the midst of all this, when all those on the ground are working so hard, it is important that before any sort of criticism or controversy that is raked, any statement is made with utmost responsibility. Alright, we seem to have lost that line with Niranjan. He will get reconnected with us, but remember, this is the story that is making headlines at this hour, primarily due to the face-off between the centre and the opposition. It is the opposition that is claiming that the centre is charging a fare, a fare that is being charged to the migrants for them being sent back to their home states, and the centre has made it very clear, the railways as well, that 85% of the cost is being borne by the center and 15% by the states. I believe Niranjan is back with us. And Niranjan, that was the exact point that I was stating before we lost that line with you, that it is extremely important that every statement is made with utmost responsibility at this point, and everyone gets their facts right before raking any sort of controversy or coming out with certain criticism, because all those on the ground, be it the railway officials or the center or the states, are working extremely hard to ensure that these migrants can be sent back to their home states while ensuring social distancing, while adhering to all the norms. And it not just disturbs their morale, but also the fact that work gets disturbed. So anyone making such statements should first get all the facts right, isn't it, Niranjan?
Yeah, just stay with me. I think we have Amit Malviya of the BJP joining us on the phone line. Now, Amit, there has been a big debate already this morning and the Congress party in different states saying that we will bear the ticket prices, etc. But, the railway, we've just received some information from the railway ministry as well, which has now gone on record. I think their sources are telling us that 85% is absorbed by the center, 15% by the states, that for each train, 1,200 tickets are handed over to the states. So tickets are not being sold. So if tickets are not being sold, what is this confusion all about?
Well, there's no confusion except that Congress wants to politicize it. The fact is that the MHA guidelines are very clear that no tickets are being sold at the counter. The state governments are required to make a list of these migrant workers, give them the ticket. The cost of the ticket will be borne by the railways to the extent of 85% and by the respective state governments, who are the ones making this list to the extent of 15%. Madhya Pradesh, for example, is bearing all the cost. That is part of their share. Therefore, to suggest that the migrants are being asked to pay is absolutely wrong. The state governments have to pay. The problem is that the Congress is upset with the fact that India has waged such a successful battle against COVID. They want India to become like Italy, where a number of people have been infected and have died. This is exactly what the Congress is trying to do.
Well, there seems to be, an attempt also now to try and, like you mentioned Madhya Pradesh. You're saying Madhya Pradesh is absorbing the amount, that is the 15% that the states will have to cough up. Now, in that case, has there been a deliberate attempt to sort of mislead in other states? Is that what you're hinting at?
I am very clear that Sonia Gandhi wants to make India Italy, where millions of people have got infected and several thousand have died, by promoting indiscriminate movement of people. There is no question of migrants paying. It is a political statement made by Sonia Gandhi to muddy waters, to create confusion, and to create unrest amongst migrant workers.
Okay, we'll see where the story goes. Amit Malviya, thank you for speaking to us. The BJP saying that there is an attempt to politicize the entire migrant travel, and we're getting in some more information. I'm just handing it back to you. We'll try and get Abhishek on the phone line as well. Abhishek on the phone line, and we will try and get you more updates on this story. But certainly there is a contradiction in what the Congress party seems to be saying for now.
Oh yes. And we continue to put out the story in its entirety, as most importantly the clarification that is coming in and making it very clear that the migrants are not having to pay the fare of these tickets. All right, Mr. R.P. Singh is joining us on the phone line. Mr. R.P. Singh, first up, your reaction to what the opposition is claiming. They are saying that the migrants are being charged a fare for being able to go back to their home states, and the BJP completely rubbishing these statements, making it very clear that it is probably an attempt to politicize the matter.
I'll appreciate that Mrs. Sonia Gandhi produced one such ticket which has been charged by migrants. She's just trying to politicize it. And she has a reason for it. They want to create a chaos here in India. They want to create. They want people to die here. Something like what has happened in other countries, especially in the European countries and specifically in Italy. The way people have died, she wants something of that sort to happen here. We won't allow that. And then, yes, we are taking care of poor. Every poor and needy is being taken care of. Food is being given to them, not only traveling, otherwise also when they reach home. Even the state governments like Madhya Pradesh, UP are also showing them the jobs there. I mean, they are trying to work out, Mr. Yogi is trying to work out how can they be employed once all the such people come there. So we are, the state government are taking good care of how to ensure that all these people who are coming, they don't need to pay. One, secondly, once they come back, even then they are taken care.
Mr. RP Singh, once again, to set the record straight for the entire country, not just for the migrant population, but for everyone to know what exactly is happening right now when it comes to these migrant workers being sent back to their home states, and how exactly are the costs divided?
See, as I understand, 85% is being paid by the railways, and the rest 15% is being charged by the concerned state where they are going. So it's not the migrant laborers are not being charged for it. Secondly, the issue is if the people want to go, although we don't want people to shift, we don't want labor force to shift from state to state. Otherwise, the states from where they are shifting will be in trouble after the complete opening of the lockdown. But since people are little scared and they want to go back, even there provision is being made for them. So they should not be left in lurch without food or without employment or without job. So it's a composite plan which the Government of India has planned with taking state government on board on this.
All right, Mr. RP Singh, many thanks for talking to Republic this morning. We continue to put out all the updates and more voices for our viewers on this story, as this clearly has become a big face-off between the BJP and the Congress. The opposition primarily claiming that a fare is being charged to those migrants who are being sent back to their home states. However, the railways and the centre having made it very clear that there is absolutely no cost that the migrants have to bear. 15% of that cost that is being absorbed by the state itself, and 85% of that amount that is being absorbed by the centre. Meanwhile, the railway is also making it amply clear that social distancing is being maintained in each coach, and which is why a lot of berths are going empty. The trains are returning empty from destinations, and most importantly, free food and bottled water that is being provided to these migrants by railways.